Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into one of the most dramatic geopolitical confrontations unfolding right now, the escalating tension between the United States and Colombia, starring Donald Trump and Gustavo Petro. Trust me, this story has everything: political brinkmanship, bold invitations, threats of military action, and a battle over one of the world's most controversial industries, cocaine. In early December 2025, former U.S. President Donald Trump sent shockwaves across international media. Speaking publicly, he stated that any country involved in trafficking drugs into the United States could potentially face military attacks. The statement specifically named Colombia, the world's largest producer of cocaine. For decades, Colombia has battled powerful drug cartels, balancing domestic security with international pressure. But Trump's remarks threatened to change that dynamic entirely. From Washington's perspective, this was framed as a continuation of the war on drugs. Trump pointed to recent strikes on suspected drug trafficking vessels in the Caribbean and Pacific, underscoring that countries allegedly enabling narcotics exports were putting themselves in jeopardy. However, critics argue that these statements flirt dangerously with the idea of interventionism, raising serious concerns about sovereignty, diplomacy, and regional stability. Enter Gustavo Petro, Colombia's current president. Petro didn't just respond with words of protest, he responded with a masterstroke of political messaging. Rejecting Trump's warnings, Petro extended a personal invitation to the former U.S. president: come to Colombia and witness the destruction of cocaine laboratories firsthand. According to Petro, his government has already destroyed 18,400 illicit labs, without missiles, effectively demolishing one lab roughly every 40 minutes. This invitation was as symbolic as it was provocative. Petro is sending a clear message: Colombia is actively fighting the cocaine trade, but it will not allow foreign powers to impose their will through threats or intimidation. Moreover, Petro warned that any attempt to undermine Colombia's sovereignty would be treated as a declaration of war, stating dramatically, "You will awaken the jaguar." Such statements resonate strongly both domestically and internationally, showcasing Petro as a defender of national pride while signaling firmness against external pressure. The broader context of this confrontation involves more than just fiery rhetoric. The U.S. has already imposed sanctions on Petro, his family, and Colombia's Interior Ministry, accusing them of negligence in controlling cocaine production. In response, Colombia recalled its ambassador from Washington and suspended intelligence cooperation with U.S. agencies, citing repeated unilateral strikes on drug trafficking vessels. Observers note that this suspension could significantly impact joint operations that have traditionally been central to anti-narcotics enforcement. The tension between the two nations highlights several crucial issues. First, sovereignty is at stake. Countries like Colombia are caught in the difficult position of enforcing domestic law while under immense international scrutiny. Second, narrative and legitimacy matter. By inviting Trump to witness lab demolitions, Petro aims to control the story, presenting Colombia not as an accomplice in drug trafficking but as a partner in global efforts to curb narcotics. Third, the diplomatic fallout is serious. Relations that have long been based on mutual cooperation could fray, affecting everything from trade to security assistance. Finally, there's the regional precedent. If the U.S. were to carry out military action based on drug trafficking accusations, other Latin American nations might feel threatened, potentially destabilizing the region. Now, let's break down what this means for Colombia, the U.S., and the wider world. Colombia is trying to assert itself as a responsible actor, one that enforces law and order but demands respect for its sovereignty. Meanwhile, the U.S. is emphasizing a hardline, almost militarized approach to the drug trade. The clash of these worldviews underlines a broader debate: should drug policy be enforced through international cooperation and domestic enforcement, or is aggressive unilateral action justified? The next few weeks are critical. Will Trump accept Petro's invitation, turning a tense standoff into an opportunity for dialogue? Or will the U.S. continue its threats and maritime strikes, risking a larger diplomatic rupture? Other Latin American countries will also watch closely, potentially reshaping regional alliances depending on how this conflict evolves. It's also worth noting the human element. Thousands of lives are affected by these policies, from lab workers and local communities to law enforcement officials and cartel members. Every strike, every lab destruction, and every threat carries a ripple effect across society. In this sense, the confrontation isn't just about politics, it's about people, security, and stability. So why should you, our viewers, care about this? Because it's a story that combines international relations, law enforcement, politics, and human consequences. It's a live example of how global decisions made by leaders like Trump and Petro ripple across borders, influencing not just diplomatic ties but real lives. It's about power, sovereignty, and accountability in a complex world. Sum up, this escalating tension highlights several key takeaways. 1. Sovereignty matters. Colombia is making it clear that external threats will not compromise its national dignity. 2. Political messaging is powerful. Petro's invitation to Trump is more than symbolic. It's a strategic move to showcase Colombia's active efforts against cocaine. 3. Diplomatic relations are fragile. Sanctions, ambassador recalls, and halted intelligence sharing illustrate how quickly partnerships can unravel under stress. 4. Regional stability is at risk. U.S. military threats in Latin America could set precedents with long-term consequences for neighboring countries. 5. Global drug policy is under scrutiny. The clash between militarized intervention and domestic enforcement raises questions about the future of international cooperation on narcotics control. In short, this is a story that's far from over. The next developments could redefine the relationship between Colombia and the U.S., impact Latin America's regional dynamics, and influence global drug policy. It's a political drama unfolding in real time, combining diplomacy, law enforcement, and high-stakes strategy. Before we wrap up, here's what I want to leave you with. Geopolitics is not just about distant leaders making abstract decisions. It's about sovereignty, human lives, and the choices nations make when confronted with pressure and threats. Whether you support Trump's hardline approach or Petro's insistence on national autonomy, the consequences are real, and the stakes are high. Alright, that's it for today's in-depth review. If you found this analysis helpful or thought-provoking, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more updates, and turn on notifications so you never miss a breaking story. Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you think diplomacy or unilateral action is the right approach? Let's get the discussion going. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video with more detailed updates from around the world. Stay informed, stay curious, and remember, every headline has a story behind it.